Thanks for joining us right now on WBIR Plus and online. We are following some breaking news. Tonight, our teams are live with the latest impacts across the state. Today, we are continuing our coverage on the 2025 killing of Caleb Huertas. The 23-year-old woman facing charges in his death appeared in court this morning. Prosecutors in a conspiracy theft case tied to the Knox County Sheriff's Office do not want to split up the case. More than 4,000 veterans to see memorials built in their honor. The first flight was nearly 20 years ago. Tonight we begin with the recovery efforts in Cott County following flash flooding that hit hard this weekend. Right now we are following that breaking news out of Rhode Island after authorities say multiple people were shot. He thanked his wife and his sons, and he talked about the toll that this campaign took on his family. Two students at the University of Tennessee are helping highlight independent musicians right here in the scruffy city. Todd, we are in desperate need of that rain, but especially the south part of the area. Welcome back, everyone, to 10 About Town. We are live here at the Performance Lawn. You all also have a lot of different theme nights. Can you tell us about some of the theme nights y'all will have this season? The event officially starts tomorrow, but today, as you can see, is the kickoff ahead of the competition. Tonight at 7 o'clock, it's basically like you're stepping back into the 1920s.
Katie, I am multitasking. This is going to be very embarrassing or very impressive. I'm already out of breath.
What about people who have never ever been rock climbing, like myself, and someone who's afraid of heights?
Todd, Katie, can one of y'all come get me out of jail? Oh, I think Mr. Monopoly said he can get me a get out of jail free pass.
I do get off at 11, but I'm usually in bed by 11:15. So I don't know, maybe I'll make an exception.
Hello again, Elijah. Back here in Knoxville. Tennessee softball was hot today, and baseball.
Yes, they were.
I can't even laugh at the people falling because that would be me if I tried to go ice skate too.
I mean, just remember that we can see you if you all just
They don't.
Nope.
Oh,
We'll
wow.
have more fun facts at 11. Dozens of people have lived here in the Sunshine Hills community for decades, including Ellen Keller. Thankfully, she was not home whenever the tornado hit, but whenever she did return home, this is what is left of her house. Every home has a story.
My kids lived here for a long time until they grew up and went away. So, but yeah, a lot of memories, but I still have the memories.
This home's story holds chapters of memories and all the people who have come through. This home would contain 30 chapters. Each for a year, Ellen Keller has lived inside.
It was the living room.
The living room, the chapter of time well spent.
Get my morning coffee and sit there and read my Bible and devotion and everything.
The kitchen.
I now have an open-air kitchen.
Yes. Filled with mixing bowls and utensils.
Oh, I found another dish.
Would be the chapter of recipes and cooking for people she loves.
Family and things at church.
And each bedroom is a chapter about growing up for Ellen's two kids.
Those two were their rooms. This was my room.
And items sprinkled around are the sentences for each chapter.
My gardening hat. I don't think I'll be using it anytime soon. Yes, my TV. Somehow I don't think it's going to work.
But some of those chapters, of course, do include heartache, like this one.
When you see them on TV, you think, oh, how horrible, how horrific.
Yeah.
But it's a different experience.
But Ellen Keller says the tornado that devastated the Sunshine Hills community in Kentucky is just another chapter, not the end of her book.
People say, are you going to rebuild, or what are you going to do? And I don't know. I just know what I'm doing today.
The last chapter of this home's story is about survival.
I'm so glad you're alive, Robert. Oh.
The ride of my life that I never want to experience again.
But Ellen's story will continue, her newest chapter, dedicated to love.
Much hate in the world, but oh, this is pure love. Godly love, because that's what all the people need right now.
Now, Ellen says everything she lost is just material items. However, she is just grateful to be alive. Reporting in London, Kentucky, I'm Shea Smith.
You can't find a shortcut to beat when you're playing with people's lives. So they didn't look at what it cost me
After 3 years, Tyrone Ferguson says his name has finally been cleared after being wrongly accused of shooting someone during a road rage incident. Regardless of medical records and bullet holes that show Tyrone did not shoot anyone, the past still lingers.
People can look at it, well, he's just mad, he's just ill. I'm upset because I have to start over.
Tyrone Ferguson is from Sweetwater and served in the military between 1985 and 1993. He also worked for the police department in Madisonville and Sweetwater. But in 2022, Ferguson found himself on the other side of the law. In late February, Ferguson was driving home from work late at night on I-75 in Monroe County. He says he got stuck behind a slow vehicle in the fast lane, flashed his headlights, then passed them.
Their lights was very dim, like their alternators out. So I said, well, maybe they having issues and problems. So I slow down and I wait for him to get up there. Well, dude, he sat slouching down in the seat and he flips me off.
He then sped away, but a moment later, Ferguson says he heard gunshots from that same vehicle. 2 kids were also inside that car.
Boom! And I look up. This guy he's out the window. When I say he's out the window on me like that. And they're in front of me. So I look up, I'm saying to myself, this guy just shooting me?
Ferguson says he grabbed his own handgun, and while still behind their SUV, he guesses he shot 4 or 5 rounds in the air to scare them off. A few hours later, he got arrested. Monroe County authorities charged him with aggravated assault after the passenger in the SUV from the highway was taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound.
And as he was interviewing me, he said, well, this guy got hit. You shot him. I said, shoot nobody. He said, you shot him. I said, no, I ain't shooting nobody.
Ferguson says he sat in solitary confinement in Monroe County Jail for several days. The alleged victims were Ashley and Patrick King of Georgia. 10 News interviewed them soon after the incident, but Ferguson says they are not victims, and this was not a case of aggravated assault, but a case of modern-day racism.
They just went on and said, well, there's a black guy. He's trying to get in the gang. He's a thug. He's this and that. It was just a thing that I'm a black man, and it was a white lady who did all the complaining, and that's the way our world is. It's racism. Racism's always going to exist.
Ferguson says evidence collected in the case raised obvious questions about what happened that night on the highway.
The proof showed that he shot himself. From the doctor's records, he shot himself. Accidental handgun discharge and malfunction.
The small caliber gun that Ferguson says Patrick King used was not found. What was found in their vehicle, though, marijuana, Ziploc bags, and other drug paraphernalia. Investigators did not charge the couple with any crime. In August 2023, Ferguson went on trial. That's when Ferguson says he and his attorney got a surprise.
It floored us when somebody said, oh yeah, there are bullets in the car.
Ashley King testified that bullets were found in her car. That information had never been given to the defense.
This is one of the 2 most egregious acts that I've seen in practicing for 48 years in the state.
The judge declared a mistrial. Records show after the mistrial, the alleged victims told prosecutors they did not want to come back to the state because in part of Tennessee's marijuana laws. In September 2024, Stephen Hatchett became district attorney of Monroe County. By December, he dismissed Ferguson's case with prejudice, meaning it cannot be raised again. In a written order, the state was ordered to pay attorney's fees to defense counsel for post-mistrial hearings.
It is a very rare thing that a judge orders a prosecutor to pay attorney's fees. I don't know that I've ever seen it.
Ferguson says this case was mishandled, lacked evidence, and was drawn out far too long.
They knew that I didn't shoot this guy, but they still carried it on. 2 years and 10 months.
I would hope that you never sit here and ask me questions about a case that my office handles start to finish. That's similar to this.
Never played basketball in my life, never watched a basketball game or nothing.
Felix was brought to the States from Nigeria for the sport.
You know, it was more of, I was tall for my age, and they saw like I got more, I got a lot of growth left in me. For my family, it was more of getting a good education and just trying to, get a better future.
But the path towards a better future wasn't always easy.
I wasn't getting better. I just wanted to go home and talk to my parents, but I couldn't do it.
But slowly, Felix gained another family.
I always wanted him to feel welcome and not feel like he was a stranger or just a visitor in our house.
After just playing basketball outside a bunch, I would just go down and ask him if he wanted to go play basketball, and after a couple weeks, we just started really getting close.
About a year later, in 2019, Felix's brother David was brought to the United States for the same reason.
That was the goal, to find a family that was, accommodating as the Levitts were. And that's pretty much what our parents were told and all that kind of stuff. But the path was totally different. They had us doing whatever they needed help with. It was football, baseball, clean up the school, take care of whoever was, at the school and stuff like that.
David says his school and facility was not what his family in Nigeria was promised. He also had little communication with Felix or his parents.
Even the times when I would ask for permission to go see my brother or go to vacation with them, it was always like a grumpy yes. It wasn't like oh yeah, you go do that. It was always like, why do you want to do that? What's your plan? And even after saying yes, there's rules you know what you're supposed to talk about, you know what you're not supposed to, stuff like that.
In June of 2020, David was allowed to go on vacation with the Levitts and Felix. The Levitts decided David should move in with them, but the handlers who brought the teens over denied that request. Months later, the Levitts got a call from the middlemen. Despite Felix's success, they were on their way to pick him up and take him to Atlanta and away from the Levitts.
We called his parents in the middle of the night, and they were like, we didn't issue this. Felix, at that point, came to us one night and said, I don't want to leave this house.
With the blessing of their family in Nigeria, the couple decided to adopt Felix and David.
One night, we got a call from his mom, and she was like, listen, protect my boys, pretty much, whatever you have to do. And so Adam got in the car, drove to Atlanta, called David when he was pulling in.
The Levitts faced pushback from the handlers, but continued to protect the two. On January 4th, 2021, a few days before David turned 18, the Levitts officially adopted the brothers, turning the family of 5 into a family of 7. Then 8, when Kennedy Okpara came to the United States in August, and they adopted him in September. The Levitts, who he once called a host family, now just his family.
It is good. It's, like I said, it's better having two of everything. Just having two pairs of parents.